here we are! Our very first Hero Forge Tiny Adventures, where I get to build minis inside of Hero Forge. Man, oh man, that did not work out well. I guess I should have checked to see if the audio was working, and it was not. All right, well, we can always start fresh next week, but for now, I'm just going to go through this. We're going to build our Whimsical Dragonborn, and thanks for coming to the stream, and thanks for watching without sound for so long. But here we go. All right, so I'm going to make this this Dragonborn, and then I will do a real tour of Hero Forge next week. Not next week, what am I talking about? I'm going to be doing this again on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we'll do another one. Maybe I'll finish that dwarf on Wednesday, and I'll give more of a tour. So I'll just go through the tools as I go through them, and I'll talk a little bit about Hero Forge now. So here we've already started our Dragonborn, and I've chosen half dragon as a species, but all these elements are customizable. So I'm going to go into head first. And I'm going to go into face, and here I could give our Dragonborn a human face again. Borink. And that looks pretty weird. And I can go back, and there's a bunch of different faces. I still really like this guy. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I have built a bunch of different heroes already. There's tons of stuff. I was showing on camera that I actually had gotten one printed, but maybe I'll save that for Wednesday because I was rotating the model around in front of the camera and didn't look too good. I think I'll actually shoot some video and have that so I can play it or cut to it in the stream. So I have gotten something printed from them, and that's one of the goals actually, is you can get your miniature printed, 3D printed, and sent to you, and then you can have it in different sizes, but you can have it for the tabletop, have it for D&D. Make your own D&D character. And now you can also buy the STL files. So if you are a 3D printer, or not like the physical one, but you print stuff in 3D and you have your own 3D printer, you can actually buy the files and then print it yourself, which I think is super amazing. I doubt that it comes pre-supported. Printers will know what I mean by that. And but at least you can get the actual model itself, and then you can fiddle with it all you want and print versions of it and print it at different sizes. All right, so I have my face. Let's check on the different softness. We do want them to be whimsical, so there we go. And then when we go into ears, he's got these, where are they? Yeah, he's got these big dragon ears. I'm going to turn those off, and I'm actually going to turn his hair off for now. He looks pretty horrible with no hair. Maybe he needs some horns. Those are good. I just find these ones are maybe... Well, maybe we can pair it with some good hair. It'll look good. Hair on a Dragonborn, I know it's weird, but some of those, like a top knot, like we were doing with the dwarf, that might look awkward. And it just looks like he's wearing a bad wig. But when you get down into something like this, potentially could work. That looks kind of cool. No, not ponytail, but where are they? So they have these dreads, but then they have the tentacles. Those are the ones that were on there before, I think. Those seem to work well. Long tentacles. And then I'm going to go down to pose. So one of the things I like to do while I'm working on the face is to actually go into the pose panel and select face and then go through some of the expressions. So this guy needs to be less snarly, more smiley, maybe a little cocky. And then some arg, so his mouth is open. That looks pretty whimsical. So then I can go back to head and keep messing around with the elements here. So brows, he's got the rocky ones. I could get rid of them completely, which I think actually probably looks better for this guy. Technically, I could give him a beard. It just appears at the bottom there. He could have a neck beard. It actually doesn't look too bad. This might be a bit much. Kind of works. Maybe just those. I wonder if I actually could get the hair to work then. If I picked a decent one. Seems like it can't be up too high on the head. It needs to be more towards the back. So we've seen the braid like that, which doesn't look too good. Not on our Dragonborn. No, he's just starting to look ridiculous again. You think the hair kind of works? Oh, because it's a bit silly. Yeah, no, that's fair. You could be balding. Ooh. Oh yeah, that kind of works. All right, I think I'm sold. We have our hair. We got rid of the brows. What if I add them back in? The bushy ones. Oh yeah, bushy. I mean, so these were the rock ones, but he's got the sort of bushy hair now, so, or sideburns, I should say. So eyes, yeah, we could get weird bug eyes or robot eyes. Not going to work for this guy. Teeth, I'll try some of these different teeth just to see what they look like. I kind of like that wide jaw. I don't know if it'll work, but some jagged teeth. He's got more of a beak-like look when he's like this. But that is like a big grin. I like it. All right, so horns. So now there's like a sub-menu on the right because there's different sort of levels of horns. So one of the things we could do is if we didn't have that hair, we could actually do like fins or spikes. So if I went back to the hair, I got rid of the hair and went like this. You know what? That looks kind of neat too. Whoa. Those are good too. Can the snout be extended? I think we have to pick a different face for that. So if I went back to face, so this is the cool thing. You can play around while still keeping all the stuff that you've done. So there's an extended snout. This guy looks more like a... Oh, jeez. That's very different. That one's more extended. Yeah, we were picking like turtle features, which are not as extended, obviously. I kind of like this one, although I don't think that those sideburns work anymore, but it's very dragony. What does this one look like? Oh, Lord. That is a lot of teeth. All right, we'll stick with this one. I'm going to go back in and change that beard. I will double check the facial pose and see if yeah, see, they get impacted a little bit differently. More cocky, less smile. Yeah, I like that. All right. But I think we're pretty much done with head. Let's go back to horns and see if we want to add any actual horns. Oh, pro early access. Right, so as I said, they're constantly updating stuff. So might be worth getting some early access to get access to these guys. But I mean, I can always wait till they come out and are in the public release. There's tons of different horns. You can add a whole bunch of them because there's different places to mount those horns. I kind of like this for dragons, where they come up from the front and move to the back. You'll see that there's actually posing for these as well. I use these a lot for tieflings. Yes, Kill. They've definitely expanded what it can do. There's tons more options. The posing is incredible now. Wait till you see that. We'll get to that soon. So you saw me do some of the facial stuff, which I think they had before, but now there's completely customizable posing on the models. You can do some really, really interesting things, way more than you could before. All right, so I'm going to keep these horns. They're kind of in the way now, but I'll show you a little bit of that advanced posing now. So I'll go down to pose. I won't go to face, right, because I still just have the same options. But if I go to advanced, you'll notice that I have representations of certain parts of my model up here on the right. And then I have a lot of different things that I can change. So I'm going to go to the horns, and you can see that they are linked, horn front right, but it will do both. And then I'll just zoom in here. So that's the smallest they get, but I could go massive. So you could have like a Tim Curry in Legend type demon if we were making demons. I'll keep them the smallest because they're already pretty big. But now I can twist them. I can bend them. But more importantly, I can tilt them. Actually, I'll be using all three just to get them away from those ears. Like that. And make sure that they look like their own separate thing. Now, when I'm building this for printing, I'm also aware of how things overlap or don't overlap. Sometimes you want them touching something for like some support. Those horns look like they could break off of a model pretty easily. So I could design it so that they attach to that hair or to each other, like so. And they still look like two individual horns, but they are essentially locked and a little bit safer. But I mean, 3D printing has come a long way. I could almost just leave them separate. Or even there, I think they might be touching. I'll just go back here. Everything's separate. Everything looks good. Our little whimsical, happy Dragonborn. All right, so that's all I'm gonna do for our advanced posing for now. Is just pose those horns. And then I'm going to go back and double check head, see if there's anything else I want to do. I don't think I want to add more horns. I could do some crazy stuff like add... Oh, nope, those are the ones we had before. And I just messed that up. So back to pose and advanced. Wait, those are not the ones I had, is it? No, those are now new ones. Darn it. Where are they? No, I picked... these ones? No, I didn't, but those are thinner. Let's try those out. I don't want them to be going straight up though. So if I go to advanced, bend them back. Oh yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I wanted. That looks really good. Maybe twist them upwards. Yeah. Tilt. Yeah, that really complements the shape of the head. And doesn't look as heavy or aggressive as those other horns. Perfect. All right. So back to head. I think we're done here. So we're going to go into body. And the first thing I like to mess around with before I do anything else are the measurements. And there are a lot of them. So the first one you'll notice is that in height you have an XL range. And you'll see that it turns on the XL flag. And once you get into XL range, you are incurring an additional cost for the prints if you make prints, because obviously they're much larger. But it tells you the size, so I'm going to go into the relative size of the model. You're not getting a 7-foot model, you're getting a model of a 7-foot creature. And it's based on like a tabletop scale, I'm assuming. So I am going to make this guy a bit taller, 7'4". You can change the size of the head, which is great for making much larger or much smaller. You know, if you have a gnome or a goblin, you want them to have a larger head, you can work on that. And then weight. So upper is all the way up. I'm going to change that. So now I think I can actually reduce the size of the head a bit. Posture will go into like a straight up or crouch forward. Build is kind of like the overall size, and that's where I don't really like these super wide torsos. I haven't really ever used them. I think something like that is pretty good. But I can still beef up the size. Arm length. No, he doesn't need to have super long arms or anything. And beef up the muscularity or shrink it. It's already pretty high. The chest. Waist. Waist should be pretty high. Belly. Let's give him a bit of a belly there. Starting to look good. Booty. You can give him a bigger booty, or a littler booty. And then that upper scale is really that. No, not the upper scale. Sorry. Where is it? No. Yeah, there we go. The build. All right, that looks pretty good. We can give him wings, tail. There's extras, legs, and torso. So I start with torso. He's got lizard-like. You can't see it under his shirt, but there is sort of like a lizard-like scale to him. I think the most you can see here is if we went with something undead, but you do see the sort of lizard-like scales on his hands. So you can go with regular human, skeleton, insectoid, but we're going to stay with our lizard-like. We could, that's already off, so I could give him basically a clawed robot arm. Or hand, robotic hand. It looks like it's grafted on. Artificial limbs. Humanoid, but those can be used for cyberpunk type stuff. Give him a hook hand. You could have an amputation. There's plenty of stuff you can do. I think this being a fantasy world, I'm going to give him a clawed robot hand or arm for his left arm. So he has like a prosthesis. Maybe something happened to them in the past, but he's still a jovial guy. So legs, we have some options as well. No singular leg options. That's interesting. They have that for the arms, but not for the legs. But I think those dragon legs look good. I'm going to keep those. So the age-old questions, do Dragonborns have tails? Do you want to give it a fin dragon tail? Or a lizard tail? Crocodile tail. That actually looks kind of neat. Girdled armadillo. It's different. Insectoid. So I kind of like that lizard tail. That works for me, and so does the crocodile. But I'm going to keep that one on for now. We'll see what it looks like in posing. We can always remove it. I find that tails often get in the way of cloaks. So if you want to give your character a cloak, that sometimes gets in the way. So wings, I don't think we're there yet. You can give them wings, but I think I want to do a non-winged character. Dragonborn, they don't typically have wings as far as I know. Oh yeah, so now you can do back fins, spines, you can do a turtle shell. There's stuff for aquatic, forearm fins, and calf fins if you're making an aquatic creature. Calf fins could work on a Dragonborn. But again, extras that we don't need to consider right now. We can go through clothing and stuff like that first. And clothing is where there's tons of options. So when we start out, there's outfits. So we could choose a different outfit. Just give me 1 second here. One second. All right. Just brought in some music so that there's some background music, because I realized there's no sound obviously from the desktop. This isn't a game, it's just a website, so a little bit of background music. Let me know if that music is too loud, because I don't know really where to set it right now. All right, so here we have a dragon tail. We're starting to go with clothing. So you'll see there's tons of stuff. A lot of fantasy, predominantly fantasy. But as I scroll down here, you'll see there's, like here, mummified. Not a good look for a Dragonborn, but I mean, the fact that the bandages on the face actually take the Dragonborn snout into account is pretty awesome. We can dress them up in basically fine clothes and a top hat. That's something that is pretty whimsical for Dragonborn, but I'm sure we can find some more stuff. Dress them up as a gunslinger or a cowgirl. 90s alternative. Okay. Athletic clothes. Or Dragonborn's going out for a workout. The tank top doesn't actually look bad on them. SWAT gear. So if we have like a Shadowrun setting and we want a Dragonborn SWAT officer, we can do that. Casual Friday clothes. So like I said, tons of modern day, tons of Western, or things that would work for Western. And these are just the outfits. These are all elements that you could choose individually to create your character. Oh boy, I've used those blind shades, I think they're called, shutter shades. Hey Ebrick, am I designing myself a rhino statue? I am working on a whimsical Dragonborn as per Killstreak's request. So the headband I think is pretty choice. We could do like an 80s whimsical Dragonborn. But I've used those shutter shades on a wizard. I had a wizard who I created as having he has portaled through to our world and has kept some of the fashion choices. Another top hat, so if you want to make a really fancy Dragonborn. Then we get back into some more fantasy stuff here. You can see scavenger clothes. You can make like a post-apocalyptic guy. Pirates. There was some sci-fi stuff. Where was that armor I just passed? So you can make a full-on sci-fi Dragonborn. And then way down at the bottom, there's even some Asian-inspired, so kimono, martial arts gi. We have a Korean warrior. So they're starting to get into some of the more historical stuff. Samurai is pretty cool. Wonder how. Oh, it does try to make that face mask. Ooh, that is a little frightening right there. I do not like that. Take that off, and maybe the samurai armor works on them. There's different robes. There's pants. You can do tons of stuff. Oh, that robe doesn't look bad on the Dragonborn actually. But I'm gonna go back up. Actually, what's this? This is new. I'm going to take all the clothes off. So now we have our naked Dragonborn. There you can get a better look at that reptilian body. He's still got his cybernetic or artificial arm. But I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to choose separate pieces. So I think I'm going to start with the legs. I think if we choose feet, it'll tell us. Yeah, so it says feet unavailable because we have those dragon feet. And a lot of the pants that we'll choose will actually sort of cut off at the knee. So I think I'm actually going to try some kind of robe, because I think that'll look better. I find some of the robes are a bit chunky when you don't have an appropriately thick chest clothing piece. Some of them are pretty wide. But most of the time I've been able to get stuff to work quite well. But you can see some of them flow very nicely. And then other ones, like this cocktail dress, it flows nicely, but it sort of like fans out at the bottom. Something like this as well, like the fancy dress. So it really matters the pieces you pick in tandem. So I kind of try to find something that I think will work, or at least have a backup as well, and then go from there. So if we're making a whimsical Dragonborn, no, that's a bit too much. It's almost samurai. Is that noble skirt? I think our whimsical Dragonborn might be a bard. Bards seem pretty whimsical to me. So I don't mind giving him robes. I just don't want him to look too wizard-like. Maybe I will try some pants. That's like football gear. It's a little bit too modern. Very modern. So yeah, it's just a matter of trying some stuff out, finding something you like. Another thing I like to do is when I find something like this, I'm like, I kind of like how this looks, that it shows off his dragony legs. But I wonder if I can change the angle there. So I'm actually going to go into Pose and Advanced and look for that item of clothing. And unfortunately, it does not seem to be editable. I don't think any of the robes actually are. That would be a cool feature. If you're listening, Hero Forge, editable poses, advanced poses for how the robes flow would be super awesome. All right, so let's go back. Keep choosing some legs. You can just give them some underwear. Oh, what is that? That's not underwear. Oh, it's a bikini. Yep. Or a loincloth. Oh, you know what? That actually looks kind of cool. I could always go back and give him humanoid legs and then give him boots if I wanted to. That one was one we tried at the beginning. It's all right. Ooh, that's pretty cool. I get lost in these options for hours. There's so much. You can really do a lot. And Ubrick, you haven't even seen what we can do with advanced posing. It's pretty incredible. We'll get there. Although this is supposed to be an hour stream and it's already an hour in, but yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So, you know what? I think I'm just gonna pick this one for now. And go with it, and then see what I can find for a chest. I kind of like that. Maybe not the right pants for it though, but I kind of like that. That's our, yeah, mariachi. You ran across a site where you could buy and customize yourself something like this. Yeah, so this is actually a website. This is heroforge.com. There are other sites that allow you to make your own customizable minis. I've tried a few of them, but I keep coming back to Hero Forge just because of the sheer amount of customizable options, and then the advanced posing. Like I said, is so incredible. There's so much that you can do with your poses. Even compared to how Hero Forge was just a couple of years ago. There's a lot more available now. Where's that tank top? I like that tank top. That was a lot of fun. What if there's something similar that's a little bit more fantasy? I have lost hours on Hero Forge. Just I go in and I'm like, oh, they've got a bunch of new stuff, and then I start clicking around and I find something that I really like, and then I just keep going, and then little do I know, or before I know it, it's like hours later. Oh, now he looks like a monk. You can make a Dragonborn monk. That actually would be pretty cool. I think we're gonna go with Dragonborn monk. I like that. Oh, I don't know. He's got that arm. He needs to be something more dapper. Maybe not that mariachi one, but there's gotta be something. Bah. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, it takes over the pants. He looks kind of like Santa Claus. What is that? Bardic coat. Now we're going back into Bard territory. But that's not bad. I think I need to change the legs, though. Something simpler. My fear is just that you can see that the two cloaks are going to probably interfere with one another. So something a little bit simpler. That looks good. Oh, that looks good as well, too. That kind of matches the fur. Yeah, let's go with that one. See how that works. And back to chest. So there's now neck options, and unfortunately most of these are grayed out. They don't work with the other choices we have. So I can give him a ridiculously big scarf, but I think that's blocking too much of our model. I have used that scarf before to good effect, but I think this is how we're gonna go. Gloves, I don't think we need gloves. We've got our dragon hand and we've got our robot hand. Oh, now the robot arm's not being shown off. Damn it. See, this is why I spend hours on this site. I find cool options, and then I realize that they're blocking something that I really want to show off, and then I gotta go find more cool options. I do like the skin too, so I feel like something... Not a lot of arm coverage. What is this? Yeah, this is a dress. I thought it was something more monkish. Oh. Does show off that one arm, but it's a bit bulky on the other side. Symbol. Doesn't seem as fun. He did look kind of like Santa Claus in that big one, though, so I think I can do better. Maybe that monk one was best. Oh, hey, Seven, how's it going? We're just here in Hero Forge. Which is heroforge.com. It's a website where you can customize and actually order your own miniature. I love just customizing them. I've gotten one order before. You can even order STL files if you are someone who does their own 3D printing. So it's pretty fun. Yeah, right now we're making a whimsical Dragonborn, and he's somewhere between a cross between a D&D monk and bard. I think half dragon is the actual term for what this guy is on Hero Forge, but we all know this is a great way to make your Dragonborn character for Dungeons and Dragons. I have been all right. I've been busy with work, as always. and finding new stuff to stream. So this is something I decided to do. It's a little different from video games, and I always have a lot of fun in Hero Forge. Ah, you want to play some more Ghost Recon? Yeah, Seven was our guest on 8-Year-Old Squad Leader, which is every Saturday morning. So Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. So if you want to be around for that, for sure, man. You're welcome to join us. We're also looking for more people. If you play Ghost of Tsushima, we're looking for more people to play that. Pripyat and I are playing that together on Thursday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern. That looks pretty good. But we need more for doing survival mode and raids. Yes, there are raids in Ghost of Tsushima. All right, well, I think I'm going to go with this one. It's a little bit more monkish. I think that looks pretty good. So no feed options. I mean, mask, really don't need to be doing that. I'm still good with no gloves, but gloves do have like wristwatches and other options, and you can unlink them so they're only on one side. So on his non-robot arm side, we could give him like wraps or really big bangles, or these bangles. I mean, those are pretty cool for a monk. Give him a bunch of rings, although rings also exist as separate jewelry. So I think I'm going to give him these bangles. And so I think we're pretty much done with clothes. We could do shoulders, and again, these are separate. You could do them together or separate for like some big shoulder pads, or maybe just give them shoulder pads on one side. But I've got to find an appropriate one that's not too large. And welcome back, Killstreak. Just going through stuff. I don't know if the shoulder pad's going to work. It works really well. That one might work because it looks more like it's attached to that cloth piece, but yeah, I don't mind that. That looks pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to unlink those and get rid of, no, that's the side I want. And get rid of the one side, and then we just have the shoulder pad on one side. I think by default these sit up way too high on the shoulder, but that's another part that's awesome about the customizable poses, the advanced posing. Oh, all right, 7. So best of luck at the doctor's office. Hope you're not feeling ill. But chime in when you're around, and if you're watching, enjoy. All right. So I'm not going to mess around with the advanced posing yet. I just know that that's something I'm going to want to look at. For the shoulder, I'm going to start going into gear. Tons more options again. So, for instance, back options. We've got backpacks. We've got capes. We've got jetpacks. We can put a bow on it. I could take a cape. There's the slim one, which is often very good for my rogues. At least their shoulders open. But then I could also take back items. And there's tons of different. These are the same options you have for hands, but you can put them on your back. So I could have a sword attached to my back over my cape. So there's a lot there. I don't know if I'm going to take a cape on this guy. Maybe. But for sure. Oh, and tail. This is brilliant. So you can wield a weapon in your tail if you wanted to. I think doing a little pouch that might be interesting. Pose that like you're a thief, Dragonborn thief who uses their tail. Eyes, so you have different goggles and glasses. You even have VR goggles. I'm in VR. A monocle, that's always good for a whimsical Dragonborn. That would work really good with that tuxedo we had. Blindfold, doesn't look so good on the Dragonborn face. Eye patch, doable, but not great. That's alright, you can see it clipping a little bit there in the cheek. But I think that takes away from his whimsical nature. You have different masks. Give him a cigar just hanging out of his mouth. That actually doesn't look horrible, but I don't think that works for our whimsical monk. I think that would be more for like a suit wearing thug. Some kind of mix up of Blades in the Dark and Dungeons and Dragons. All right, so let's see what we can give him for weapons. So there's misc items, so like pipes. Oh, that is a good idea. I like that. Well, those are one of these. This seems more fitting with a monk. All right, so I'm gonna give him that. And you can see there's like duffel bags, potions, tons of stuff. Knuckles, anchors. You can be fighting with an anchor. There's a symbol so you can actually give them this one, either give this to them in one hand, or if I choose the double hand symbol, then it puts them into a specific pose but gives them the double-handed wielding of that item. I go back, I gotta choose my pipe again. But there's tons of stuff. So if I go to all, let's start with all, you can see like canteens, sheathed swords or wakizashi. There's like weird cyber packs, scrolls, tons of swords. And they've got some pretty crazy swords now too. Killstreak, you've been here before, but you probably haven't seen some of these swords. So as they come up here, you'll see like bone greatsword, like they're massive swords. A lot of detail on it. These were much better double-handed scrap metal greatsword. There's tons of stuff. It's insane. They just keep adding more and more. So smaller blades, knives and stuff. I think for our Dragonborn, I mean, that's his metal hand. You know what? That is his metal hand. I think he's probably going to be smoking with that hand. Not double pipe. But I think he needs a staff. So I'm going to just scroll through all this stuff. Yeah, there is a Final Fantasy blade. A couple of them in there. But I mean, I've been messing around with Hero Forge and making models. I'm going to probably start buying some stuff just to get some more prints. You can buy stuff in large prints, larger resin, so that you can have it as like a statuette instead of as a tabletop model. Yeah, here like double-handed axes, tons of stuff. It's just crazy. Hammers. There's like a wrench. I was able to make my old City of Heroes character, Big Pink Bunny, who was a wrench-wielding superhero. Yeah, lances, pikes. I think what I need is some pitchfork, if you want to make somebody like with a pitchfork mob. Shields, tons of shields. I mean, we could go through this for hours and hours and hours and make so many different combinations of characters. All these shields are new. I don't even know these. Here we go. Quarterstaff, wooden staff, metal rod, bow staff. I think that's what we need. We need a bow staff for this guy. Now, that's not the best pose, but we're going to play with that. So let's do some side items. Wait, what was that? Hand? Yes. Okay, I should explain this. So, I'm going to actually go into where's staffs. There. I think that's where a bow staff is. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to keep that. I'm going to get rid of that for now. So check this out. Oh, wait. Alright, so you can have a spell cast from the end of it, I guess, if it's a magic staff. You can have effects on it, so like flame or smoke or crazy ice, bigger flame. So you can do some pretty neat stuff. And you can actually just do spell effects. That's fancy. There's categories as well, modern, fantasy, so on, but spell effects would let me do like mage hand or fireball. Again, this needs some serious posing before that looks good, but you can do some pretty neat stuff. Like a smoky skull. But I quite like that bow staff, so I think we'll go with the bow staff. And we just need like a whimsical pose. So if I go to side, I'm going to choose miscellaneous. I think maybe on one side we'll have these sort of potion bottles, and on the other side like a scroll or a pouch, coin pouch. I'm not going to do a cloak. I might add one after I start posing just to see what it looks like, but I think he's got already a bunch of stuff on him. I might be able to do a backpack. Sometimes I like to do that with my soldiers or clerics, like they're carrying a kit, but I don't think he needs it. Back items. Maybe give him a bow. A broken bottle is something you can do. Dice. You can even have two. That doesn't look too bad. Like he's got some kind of bottle of liquor. Maybe he's if we're doing Dungeons and Dragons, maybe he's a was it drunken fist? Drunken master? Monk? Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on. It just fits right. It just fits nicely in there, and there's like a nice symmetry between the shape of the potion bottle and the beads. All right. Piercings. So we can do ear piercings. Yeah, and they work on Dragonborn. Disconnect those and do different ones on either side. There's different positions for them. Oh. Nose piercings. Let's go with those. You know what? I think even that is too much. Yeah? No? No. That looks awkward. Well, I'm just going to leave those two up there, or that one up there. I think that's good. All right. Maybe on the other side, though. He's got the shoulder pad here, so I'm just balancing it out a bit. Hey. There we go. Does he need rings? I'll show you what they look like. We can pick one. So you can pick which finger. So that's the other hand, isn't it? Yeah. So maybe we'll give him the one. Bases. All right. So there are different bases different shapes and then different things on them. I will warn you that if you choose one of these XL bases, it picks the pose for you and you are kind of stuck with that pose. You can change a few things, but the majority of the pose is kind of the same. He's saying, "Hey bro, what's up? What's up?" Yeah, I think I'm going to make him smoking, and I think I'm going to have him standing a little bit nonchalantly. So I like picking round bases. I've always loved round bases. The wood looks fine. I mean, honestly, sometimes when I get these printed, I'll just take the slot base. That's what I do with the guy that I got. Because then I will just usually cut that off, pin them, and then make my own custom base. But that's an additional step. And with bases, you can actually... geez, you can even change the rim of the base. And you can put items on them. So I could have like a skull in the back. I could have a rat. Let me go around to the back so you can see this. Sort of like, oh, that's a weasel. No, that's a rat sticking out from underneath his cloak. So you can add some stuff. I don't think I've ever added a label. Oh, you can just put something underneath. Fair enough. Right, so standard base for now. Mounts not available because the character is XL, right? So if we had a smaller mount or a smaller character, we could add like a motor. I think there's motorcycles. Here, let's just go up to body, measure, because we're just inside of XL. So we'll go out. We'll go back to mount. So yeah, they have wheelchairs. Fancy battle wheelchair. That's pretty cool. So you can have wheelchairs for your characters. Modern one. You can have. I can have them on a pony. Again, this starts to limit your posing because basically the bottom is the bottom of the character is set. And also you can't change the... I don't think you can change the horse's pose. Maybe I'm going to go into pose and advanced. Yeah, so you can't change the horse's pose or the mount's pose, unfortunately. But we could have him on a sweet motorcycle. Just riding off. I think I need to get a motorcycle for my time-traveling wizard. But yeah, so we're not going to do any mounts. Leaving mounts out of it. I'll just go back over to body and make him a large figure again. Seems like it's, I can get a lot more out of it if I made him super huge. You know what? I'm going to keep him just out. So when we take a look at price, because I want to show you guys the pricing, you can see how much it costs for a standard figure. So pose. All right. Killstreak, if you've done this before, you will be accustomed to this pose library. So there's a pose library. You can just choose a pose. Blech. What's cool about that, you can make your model and then save them out in different poses and with different weapons. So if you're playing D&D with these guys and you have different weapons, you have ranged weapons, you have melee weapons, you can make different poses, save them, and then get them all printed and then swap out your minis at the table. I mean, it'll get expensive, but it's definitely something you could do. One thing that you always had was this left-right swap. So it changes, but that changes the entire model. So you can see that even the shoulder pad that we put on one side shifted to the other side. So I've done that before, but then I've literally had to go in and change anything that was asymmetrical, like the earring. I'm out of luck for the clothes because those will swap regardless. So if you have asymmetrical clothes, you have to live with the fact that if you're making multiple models of the same character, you have to live with the fact that some of your poses are going to be backwards. Man, we are still going. I get so sucked up in this. All right, so we need whimsical. So I find this is a wonderful whimsical pose. And now we're going to adjust it. So if I go into advanced, again, here you can see all the options of what's posable. I'm going to start with some simple stuff. So this back item is actually pretty good. It doesn't stick out too much. It's nice and flush against his body. It doesn't bother me. I told you that shoulder pad bothers me. I don't never really like the height of them. This one's actually probably one of the better ones that I've seen, but we're going to adjust that. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust these potion bottles. They look like they're kind of half attached to the body and half off, but for any little fiddly details like that, I always like to sort of make them more attached to the body so they don't stick out as much. So when I select those bottles, you can see I have a bunch of different options. And they're always different. So up and down. Slide, I think, is forward back. No, that's in and out. That's the one I want. So I'm going to make that go more in. Forward or back. In this case, a little bit forward. And then twist. Whatever makes it look like gravity. Yeah, something like that. And maybe down so that those twine, the rope that's attaching it, feels like it's on the belt. It's gonna have to go in a little bit more. There we go. Oh, no, that's too far. Well, then I'm gonna need to bend it. No, yeah, like that. Perfect. All right, so now they look more like they're hanging. They're definitely one with that robe. He's about to buy around. Yeah, he's buying around for everyone in the tavern. You have the same problem with non-asymmetrical airspaces. I'm going to have to hear that story someday. I'll do the same thing with this pouch. See, like it's angled backwards, but I feel like he's not in any kind of action pose. So that needs to be rotated. So I think tilt. No, tilt is all right. Bend is all right. Twist. There we go. And then I'm going to lower that. I think that's pretty good like that. One thing I could do is change the side or the, is it tilt? Yeah. Tilt and bend. Which pushes it inside of his robe, but you can see it leaves a nicer negative space between the arm and the body. But we're going to be changing the pose of this arm anyway, so I'll just leave it as is and make sure if I need to change it later, I can. All right, so torso. Twist it. I can bend it, and I'm going to bend it a little bit like that. Because then I'm going to start working with arms. Oh, perfect. So see, I can click this hand, and it changes the way that he's holding onto the weapon. This is more like a sword point. And I'm doing that because I'm going to have him essentially leaning on his staff or holding his staff. I'm just going to keep moving this around. Maybe too far. And then if I select Oh yeah, good. So not all the staves have this grip position. I love it when they do because I just love making characters rest their staves, their staffs, or their pole arms on the ground. Just make sure that that is attached. You can go into the ground a bit. There we go. And I bet you know what we're going to do next. I mean, here, this already looks pretty good. It's like he's talking to the bar. He's like, buy my friends a round of drinks is what I'd like to do, or have someone else do, because I only have this small coin pouch. But I think I'm actually going to make him smoking. And another thing I wanted to check, which I forgot to do, is if I go back to gear and hands, and I look at my pipe. No, that's the staff. Darn it. What about this guy? Does he not... Can I not cast spells out of my... Nope, I guess not. Spells not allowed out of my pipe. Alright, that's too bad. That would have been cool. Because I would have loved to have done that smoky skull coming out of there. Alright, so... Let's go back to... Pose. Advanced. And here I'm going to be using the head and... Oh, what's the pipe do? Twist. Oh, perfect. All right, so that's a good control. Oh, yeah, and you can do it. You can use this tool to actually select in here and do it. But I'm fine with using the sliders. All right, so... Actually, you know what? Shoulder pad first. That thing's going to get in the way. So here's what I'm going to do. Scale down. It's a little bit big. Now it's already looking a lot better. Position down. And just make sure that it doesn't clip anywhere. Because it will start to clip. Things will start to clip through. But we're lucky so far. Sometimes I have to... Oh, there's the skin starting to clip through. Now I'm going to... bend, baby. There we go. I think that's pretty good. There's a little bit of clippage here, but that's fine. That still works. Okay. Oh, wait. Side. Because those beads are showing. That'll probably help with our clipping issue. Oh, it makes it worse. That's pretty good. I like that. All right. So if I go to his arm, elbow twist. Oh man, I might already be able to get it with just that. Oh yeah. This is working out pretty good. I like my smoking Dragonborn. Yoink. Almost. I need to do a little bit. Oh, no. You know what? I kind of liked his arm up. It was more dramatic. And it gets it better. Just need to do the elbow twist more. Oh, I don't know what I need to do. What is that? Tilt? No? Twist. Yeah, there. It's not very natural like that. So this is the thing, is you kind of want it to look comfortable, natural. Otherwise, oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Oh yeah, look at that. And I mean, I could still shift the head even. Well, he needs to be getting that out of the side of his mouth. Oh, that looks great. Oh, I love it. So another trick with miniatures. When they're on the table, this is kind of the view you have of them. So the more angled up the face is, the more of the face you'll see. That doesn't mean you always have to do it. You can have hooded figures with their heads looking down. But always remember that the top stuff is really, I mean, your miniature, you're probably going to see most of the time like this, depending on the game. If it's a two-person war game, you always see your models from behind. But yeah, so there's our Dragonborn. Oh, you know what? I want to do very quick adjustment to the tail. The tail, tons of twists. Look at those. 9 levels, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. So, oh, it just keeps going. 19 different areas where you can twist that tail. That's crazy. On just the tail. And that's all twist, bend, and tilt. So you can really customize that. I just wanted to get it a little bit out of the cloak there. Obviously the twist 1 is the top, so that's the most, or the first twist, set of twist, bend, and tilt is where you're going to have the most impact. So there's that. If we go back to base, and we go to items, I know there's this little bird, and then there's also a series of birds. And there's items B too, so I can choose an item, like this little bird, and then I can choose items B, and choose another little bird, or a coin. I don't know, I like that he has these little birds at his feet. Wish you could put one on his staff. Or mushrooms. But those are posable as well. So I'll just put the one bird there for now. Go back to pose and advanced. You can see there's the bird, and you can sort of slide them around on the base and then twist. And you can also undo your poses. I don't know if it needs the bird, but I wanted to show you that. So if we go back to base, items, turn that off. And now the next part that we haven't even talked about yet is you can actually colorize your models. You can get them printed in color. So you can choose skin colors to start. And then you can go for themes. There's decals in beta, which I obviously don't have access to, but this is your standard, sort of just really quickly setting up colors, and they just pre-choose a bunch for you. But then you can go in and actually choose paints, and they have different properties. I've done this to a few models, but to be perfectly honest, I'll show you the different print options. You'll see that color 3D printing, because these are all 3D printed, isn't really where it's at just yet. I mean, it's getting better, but it's still lower quality than what you can get in other materials. It's a fun thing to have, and if you're just looking for a model to represent your character in a D&D game, you can absolutely get it in color. Then you don't have to worry about painting. But if you are a miniature painter, you're probably going to want to skip that because you're not going to get a lot of detail. So, booth. So if you are a pro subscriber, you can get different portraits of your character. I mean, you can also just take a screenshot, which is something I do. Yoink. You can save them. So if I go, and I'm going to rename this guy Whimsy. So, and then I'm going to save him. So now he's saved with my account that I've logged in with. Now, let's take a look at buy options. So for one mini plastic, that's $20 US, $19.99. There's premium plastic, which is $30 US. They put this 20-sided die here to show you the scale. You can see some images of what those prints look like. And I can say, yes, this is the quality that my print had. It's pretty good, but you can see that there are some, well, I guess I can't zoom in any further. There are some print lines. So color plastic, again, this is where you start to lose detail, but you do get a colored model that you don't have to paint, which for some people is probably going to be a huge benefit. But they even give you the warning here, like, look at the photo gallery, you're not going to get the same quality of build that you get from their other plastics. Bronze for $100. So yeah, and the printed models are expensive. It's $45 US. Bronze is $100. You're actually going to get a literal bronze model. And you can see that, where is it? They usually talk about, have a rich gold color and smooth finish. Sometimes they talk a little bit, if you look at more info, you can see here, is this coming up? Yeah, so you can see here that it talks about the durability and it talks about the detail. So for instance, plastic is fairly durable and fairly detailed. Premium plastic has the maximum amount of detail, but a little bit less durability. Color, I don't know if I would say it has that level of detail. I would say it probably has less than your standard plastic. Ooh, interesting. Painted plastic available exclusively to Kickstarter backers. So I'm guessing that the Kickstarter backers can get stuff printed and then hand painted by one of their staff. Yeah, hand painted plastic minis. Bronze looks like it has the best detail and durability, but is $100. Here's where it gets interesting. $8 for an STL download. So $8 and you get a STL file. Oh, and they have some examples here. I'm just trying to see if it says anything about. They are test layer meshes which are not rigged for animation. Yep. It doesn't say anything about being pre-supported. I doubt they are pre-supported. If anybody out there is from Hero Forge, let me know. But yeah, the download side of this, and there's another one. Oh yeah, you already saw that, or is that what you're talking about? 3D tabletop download. So this is compatible with your tabletop simulator games. So if you've been playing role-playing games or any other type of game on tabletop simulator, you can use this mini in your tabletop simulator games, which is pretty awesome. I just downloaded Tabletop Simulator, haven't tried it out yet, but my friends and I have been playing a lot more games online, usually using something like Roll20 and Zoom or Skype FaceTime. But if we start using Tabletop Simulator, then there's the opportunity for everyone to have their own model, same $8. And they have another example download here, which we can take a look at. And it tells you how to import your model into the Tabletop Simulator. And then they have more material, so they have a $35 steel, which doesn't have a lot of detail. And then they have a 2x scale plastic, nylon plastic. Again, the detail is lower, but durability is high. But it's twice the size, so that's a good option for a statue. Yeah, I'm wondering, you probably use them in virtual tabletop. I don't know what the file format is. I wonder if it says here. If I open this. Oh, no, I just downloaded it. Well, I can see what file it is then. It's a zip file is what it is. It's a Unity 3D model. So that is, if Virtual Tabletop is using Unity, I believe it is, I'm not 100% sure, but if it is, then you have a 3D model. You might not be able to follow these guidelines to get it in there. But, and these are specifically for Berserk Games Tabletop Simulator. So if you have Virtual Tabletop, you might need to figure that out, but it's possible. Yeah, and that's basically it. I'm going to go back to our standard guy here. And there we have it. Our little whimsical Dragonborn, courtesy of Hero Forge, and the suggestion by Killstreak. Hope you enjoyed that. Killstreak, I will send you a little screenshot of that guy. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I think this guy's great. I actually really like him. And this is the thing. Every time I jump into Hero Forge, even when I'm just like, I'm just gonna make something random, I always get some kind of pose or some kind of item that I'm using that I really like. It wasn't until finding that pipe that I knew that this is what we're gonna do. But I really like that pose. He just looks like he's walked into the tavern and is having a good old time. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing this again on Wednesday. I'm going to try to finish up that dwarf. And just wanted to let you guys know. So, Tiny Adventures in Hero Forge every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm probably not going to go for 2 hours next time. I'm going to try to keep this down to an hour. Thursday nights, Pripyat and I are playing Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Saturday mornings, we are playing 8-year-old squad leader with his son, Kid Codifier, who leads us through Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And then on Sundays, I'm trying out some base building in No Man's Sky. I had a really rough time on yesterday morning on this one, so I think this might end up becoming a YouTube series, but I'll keep it a stream for now, see how it goes, see if I pick up any viewers. But thanks again. I'm off tomorrow, but I'll see you all again on Wednesday for another episode of Tiny Adventures in Hero Forge. Take care.